Hi, Steve Cologne with Cologne and Villaplana. I want to talk about today the co-op purchasing process. First off, the main thing, and I'm talking to my agents out there, would be to, when you're going to list a co-op, I would encourage you to get the offering plan, get the 2 years of financials, the house rules, and the application. You want to have that ready so that whenever a person is going to make an offer and your client's gonna accept it, you have that ready to give them. Most attorneys won't let their clients sign a contract unless they have that in their possession in advance. Personally, what I like to do if I don't have it, because it happens so often, most of the time, the agents don't have that, and there's a huge waiting period. And what's the downfall with waiting period, folks? We're in a hot market right now. You can have your client have buyer's remorse. You can have, as far as for buyers, you have other people that may come in and, outbid you when you already have an accepted offer. So I would encourage the buyer's agents to make sure that if the seller's agent doesn't have that, they work on getting that from the offer. And as far as the selling agents, try to get this when you're doing your listing. Another thing you're going to need, agents, are the amount of shares, whether there is a flip tax or not. And a flip tax, are for those people that aren't aware, it's when the co-op charges a fee. Usually it's per the amount of shares you have, like $8 per share on the seller. It's very rare it's on the buyer, but occasionally can happen. And in your contract, you want to make sure that it states the seller's paying the flip tax. The only time that doesn't happen on a regular basis is when it is a sponsor unit, and it's customary that there is no flip tax in a sponsor unit. In a sponsor unit, the buyer a lot of times will pay the transfer tax to the county and state that they're selling in. So going forward, let's say we have all those the information that we need. And I left out one other thing. What is the maintenance? Is there any assessment? An assessment is typically a small, short-term charge that is usually for some kind of improvement because the board doesn't want to vote on a maintenance increase. All right, so try to have all that information from the beginning. Now, so you get to the point of now getting your accepted offer. You've already heard all I said about the beginning part. Now your attorney is going to review the financials. They're going to send you the rules, and you want to make sure that if you have pets, for instance, that a co-op allows pets. You don't want to be stuck with getting rid of your dog or your beloved cat, or maybe now going into default because you don't want to purchase and you're stuck because when you applied you didn't read the house rules. Fortunately, most banks are going to review the financials, and they're not going to lend to that building unless the financials are good. The bank's not going to want to go lend to a bankrupt co-op. Now, what is unusual about a co-op? A co-op, technically, you're buying into a corporation. You're buying into a business. Each person is a shareholder that lives there. They are assigned the actual stock certificate, typically like the back in the days, Wall Street type stock certificates, nice and square. They have a stamp. They're not deeded property, so fortunately you're not charged with mortgage tax, and that's why co-op process purchasing is a little bit cheaper than buying a home. You don't have to get title insurance. Again, it's not deeded property, so you're going to only get a lien search in most cases, although there is lien holders insurance, but that's rarely done. As I said before, you're getting a stock certificate. You're also getting a proprietary lease. The proprietary lease is what allows the person that owns that stock certificate to live in that property. All right, so you're getting literally a stock certificate, proprietary lease. Your lender is going to hold that hostage until you pay off your mortgage. Now, let's talk about the process a little bit. Well, you may have seen my videos from offer to close. It runs pretty much very similar in the contract signing process. Once your contracts are received, signed by the seller, you're in contract. You're going to apply for a mortgage. Pay attention to your mortgage contingency and follow that. Make sure you're getting a mortgage within a set time frame. If you need more time, make sure your attorney requests for that time. Or if you watch my video on riders, you have some kind of clause that makes that a void. Now, once you get a commitment from the bank, it is imperative. Most applications require a commitment from your lender to apply to a co-op. What most people don't realize is you usually have 3 to 5 business days, depending on your contract, Typically it's 3 business days from when you get a commitment to apply to the board. If this is a cash deal, you typically have 10 business days. Again, look at your contract if there's a difference. Now, I've never had anyone be in default for not handing in an application in time, but you don't want to be that first person. So within 3 business days from your getting your commitment, submit that application. Make sure you know who you handed it to or how it was delivered. And please make sure you follow the directions of the application. Don't leave things out. Again, this is a business you're applying to, almost like you're taking your resume and submitting it for a job application. That board is going to determine if they want you to live there based on what they see. I recommend people that don't have a fillable PDF application to actually type it up, and if you don't have a typewriter, which most don't anymore, and you can't scan it in to make it a fillable PDF yourself. I remember when I applied for my board, I literally typed out the answers, cut paper, scotch tape, copied it, but it looked great. The board was like, this is the first time we got a typed up application, which is good because my handwriting sucks. Anyway, that being said, so you hand in an application, you have to wait for the board interview. Now, another reason why it's very important to get that application in time is because some boards meet on demand and some boards will meet once a month. So if you don't meet that deadline for that meeting for that month, you may have to wait a whole nother 30 days to close. All right, so the call process typically can take about 15 to 30 days longer than a regular purchase for that reason. Now, you have board approval. What happens now? Your bank should have sent you a recognition agreement or an Aztec agreement. Basically, the bank wants the board to agree that they acknowledge the bank's interest in your shares. You cannot close unless that is an original submitted to the board, usually through the management agent. Make sure you also, just like with the application, you get who you hand it to so you have proof. Sometimes this is very important when another side's upset things are taking long. Now, assuming they have the recognition agreement, your board has communicated board approval, what happens next? Well, you still need bank approval, and on top of having bank approval, you need the transfer agent or the co-op attorney, the same person. They dictate the closing schedule. So just get it clear to close, you don't close right away. Now, once the transfer agent says these are the days I have available, the seller's attorney has to make sure their bank brings that original stock and lease if they have a mortgage to the closing, so you have to make sure they're available. You have to make sure your bank attorney is available, your buyer's attorney, your seller's attorney, your seller, and your buyer. So coordinating a co-op closing, there's a lot more involved. That's pretty much the whole gist of the co-op process. I'm sure you may have more questions. You may need to rewind that, and sometimes I talk fast. I apologize. If you have any questions, my information's at the end of this video as well. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the videos that you've watched today. They're not meant to be a substitution for speaking with your legal professional, but just an educational tool. Thank you.